Take a deep breath. You feel the movement of your chest. Why does this happen? What makes them move? It is nothing but the muscle cells that help us to move. If you want to move from place to place, if you want to write something, if you move, it is the muscle tissues. What is? Whenever you breathe in, there is exchange of gases. Now here, what happens with that gas? We take in oxygen. Where does this oxygen enter? Whenever we breathe in, the oxygen enters the lungs, to alveoli of the lungs. From the alveoli, it is being exchanged with the blood capillaries, and from there, this blood is going to transport oxygen to different parts of the body wherever it is required. So blood is going to take up this transportation or delivery job. Only that, what else blood can do? It also transports nutrients, hormones, proteins, and also it transports the waste. Whatever the waste is generated in the body, it picks up the waste and then it transports to the place like liver and kidney from where it is thrown out of your body. The question here is why we need oxygen. So as we consume food or the food gets digested and that digested food gives us what? Nutrients. And from the nutrients we derive energy or we get energy. So oxygen is required to burn the food or oxidize the food to give you energy. Now can you tell me where exactly this process occurs in the cell? Which is the powerhouse of the cell? It is mitochondria. In mitochondria, the food which is present gets oxidized to give you energy, to release energy in the form of ATP, which can be utilized by your body. So, what are the different types of tissues in animals? Connective tissues, nervous tissues, then muscular tissue as well as epithelial tissues. Let's know what do you mean by a tissue? Group of cells that are similar in structure and work together to perform a specific function. Understand? The structure is related to what function it performs. First, we are going to consider here as epithelial tissues and how this epithelial tissue, based on what function it performs, are further classified as. Now, this is the structure of squamous epithelial tissues. As you see, these are just a thin layered flat structures. So, it is required for transportation of materials. It is acting as a protective layer. It is present in the inner lining of your mouth. So, sometimes when you eat food in a hurry, you happen to bite your cheek. Inside the cells of the cheek are very sensitive and very delicate. That lining of your mouth, whereas it is present in the inner lining of blood vessels, kidney, and in the alveoli of the lungs. Okay. Now let's go to this cuboidal epithelial tissues. The name is because the cell appears just like a cube. Okay. Now these cells are having continuous layers and it is having less of cemented material. Generally, if we talk about epithelial tissues, they have a continuous layer. There is no intercellular space in between and very less packing or cementing material is present. Why? Because its job is protection. If there is any break or if there is any space, then any pathogen can enter and in turn it can harm the tissue. We are going to provide mechanical support to the tissues. This is present in the salivary glands, in the inner tubules of the kidneys, etc. Okay. Now, sometimes what happens, this epithelial, cuboidal epithelial tissues will fold inwards to create some internal structure like this. And this is going to help in secretion. So, we call this as glandular epithelial tissue, which is columnar epithelial tissues. So, as the name suggests, the cells are elongated or pillar-like structures. Sometimes they may have this hair-like structure. In that case, we call them as ciliated columnar intestine. villi of intestine. So these sort of tissues are present there for basically for absorption and secretion. It is also present in the respiratory tract. So the fine hair-like structure that are present in the passage of the nose and the respiratory tract that helps in movement of mucus. The next is many layers giving you a definite pattern. We call them as stratified epithelial tissues. Where do you think this is present and what could be the function of this? Okay, it is the first defense of our body from external conditions. Just see the cells, how they are present, they are continuous. Okay, now these are required for protective wear and tear. You must have seen continuously sometimes your skin gets peeled and again the new skin arises. Soft just as in the cheek cells, the heel cells, it will have a thick layer, a little bit harder cells. We talk about blood as a connective tissues. It transports, it removes the waste. So just take a needle, we call that as lancet, prick your finger, then you get a blood, just press on and put it on the slide. Then spread this and place a cover slip over this. Then what do? You are going to observe under microscope. You could see that it is made up of different components. So let's know what are the different components. Depending upon the type of mattress, connective tissues are of different types. Since the mattress here is a liquid and that liquid we call as plasma, therefore blood is a liquid connective tissue. What are the other cells that are present in this mattress? It is the WBC or white blood cells, then RBC which helps in transportation of oxygen. It has hemoglobin, WBC, white blood cells, platelets that helps in clotting of the blood. Thank you so much for